I read this title. It's a recommended video. Seemed like it was going to be good. So I'm just interested in what he's going to say. I think we are in that like post brain rot era. I think, in my opinion, I think he's going to talk about we take care of our health, but we still have a lot of screen time. That's my life.
We live online. We breathe content. We consume media like it's oxygen. And we're constantly bombarded with warnings about how we're damaging our minds with all this scrolling, all these edits, all this stimulation. But what if I told you we're actually at the beginning of something new? What if all this brain rot is about to change? I'm not here to shame you for using social media. I'm not going to tell you how many hours of screen time is acceptable. I'm here because I think we're witnessing the early signs of a major shift. Let's talk about what brain rot actually is. It's that feeling when you've scrolled for hours and somehow feel both completely overstimulated and totally empty. It's when you're watching Netflix while scrolling Instagram while half listening to a podcast. It's when you can't remember anything you watched yesterday despite watching content for 6 straight hours. We all know this feeling. We all live this feeling. When I say we, I absolutely mean we. I'm not above any of this. For years, we've been told this is happening because our attention spans are destroyed. We're dopamine addicts. We're broken. But that explanation feels too simple, too convenient. It doesn't capture what's actually happening to us. Think about something you saw online that genuinely moved you. A video that made you feel something real. A song that transported you somewhere else. We all have these moments, which immediately shoots down the idea that our brains are completely fried and unable to connect with anything. The real question is, how much content did you have to sift through to find that one piece that actually mattered? Hundreds of videos? Thousands?
But you know what it is, though? The algorithm likes to give, though. It likes to give, and it gives you what you pay attention to and what you search for. And so when you're searching for positive content and paying attention to positive content, you're going to get recommended to other positive creators. And you just literally got to start following those people, sub to those people, check out their Instagrams, clean up all your clean it up, man. You can have some brain rot content, like just balance it out, have some educational content, some nature content, whatever.
And do you remember any of them in between? That's the actual pattern. We're not incapable of paying attention. We're drowning in a sea of content that's explicitly designed to be forgotten the moment after it's consumed. Every platform, every creator, every brand is competing for your attention. So they've engineered content to be increasingly emotional, increasingly stimulating, increasingly addictive. It's not just about short attention spans anymore. It's about who can create the most intense feeling in the shortest time. TikToks are 7 seconds of pure concentrated emotion. Songs are getting shorter, more hook-centered. YouTube videos are edited with a relentless pace. None of this is revolutionary information.
I mean, honestly, it's just constant cut. And if there's not no cuts happening, there's music, or something's changing. There's always something changing. You just gotta pay attention to it.
We all know the internet is changing us. We know and we've known. But now we're entering something different. We're not just in an era of distraction anymore. We're in an era of merciless emotional gratification. And it's getting more intense every single day. Every time you open an app, you're bombarded with content that's more beautiful, more emotional, more complex, more intense than the last time. That sounds amazing if you don't think about the implications. But when you spend enough time being constantly bombarded by content, you start to feel something weird. Something that has nothing to do with failing attention spans or addictive algorithms. It's a feeling of emptiness. A weird dread that sits deep in your chest after hours of emotionally saturated content. That's what scares me most about all this. Not that we can't focus, but that we're being overloaded. Our capacity to process information has limits, but the content doesn't. And this overflow.
People need to learn how to focus their content that they're watching and watch it at certain times. Like, there's times where I'm just watching history content and, I don't go down the rabbit hole or don't get, like, you just gotta learn how to not get, like, go down any, like, side rabbit holes. Like, just stay focused on your content that you're trying to consume at the time, because all the other content will be there when you need it.
Flow of digital stimulation is affecting how we interact with the world around us. Have you noticed how difficult it's becoming for us to connect offline? There's research suggesting our generation experiences higher rates of social anxiety when it comes to in-person interactions. It's not our fault. When you grow up in an environment where digital communication is primary, face-to-face interaction becomes this strange, unfiltered experience that we can't edit, can't delete, can't curate. Our devices have become externalized emotional regulation systems. Feeling awkward? Pull out your phone. Feeling bored? Open TikTok. Feeling anxious? Scroll Instagram. Feeling lonely? Watch YouTube. The problem isn't that these are inherently bad coping mechanisms. The problem is that they're becoming our only coping mechanisms. And they're not actually designed to help us cope. They're designed to keep us engaged. The systems that deliver this content are getting better at emotional targeting. They're learning what makes you angry, what makes you sad, what makes you laugh, what makes you scared. And they're serving you more of whatever keeps you scrolling. The entire digital infrastructure is built around this model. Your emotional state is the product being sold to advertisers. So are we doomed? I don't think so. Because something is happening. People are getting tired. Really tired. Not just metaphorically. Neurologically exhausted. Our brains weren't designed to process information at the volume and emotional intensity we've been forcing them to. Have you noticed how many people are talking about digital detoxes now? How many friends have deleted TikTok or Instagram because it was melting their brain? How the term brain rot itself has gone mainstream? That exhaustion is actually the first sign we're entering a post-brain rot era. When you get so sick of feeling manipulated by short-form emotional content that you start seeking something else, something deeper, something more substantial, that's the beginning of change. Look at what's gaining traction. Long-form podcasts where people just talk for hours. YouTube videos that go deep on a single topic without frantic editing. Communities forming around shared interests rather than shared content. This isn't happening because we suddenly got more virtuous. It's happening because we're exhausted. Our brains are screaming for coherence, for something that doesn't feel like it's tearing us apart. I think what we're seeing is a pendulum swing. We pushed so far in one direction, toward fragmentation, toward micro...
I feel you. I've just been on the other side of it, man. Like, these past years, I've been doing inside work, working on me, working on that and stuff.
Content, toward algorithmic curation,
don't mind
that a counter movement was inevitable. People are seeking out more integrated, more coherent experiences. And the interesting thing is, platforms are starting to respond, not out of the goodness of their hearts, but because market forces demand it. If users become dissatisfied, platforms adapt. There's a growing recognition that optimizing solely for attention is a race to the bottom. Eventually, you hit the biological limits of human perception. You can't make videos shorter than a certain threshold. You can't make cuts faster than the brain can process. So, what comes next? That's the post-brain rot era I'm talking about. It's not about abandoning digital spaces or returning to some pre-internet utopia. It's about evolving towards something more sustainable, more nourishing, more human. I think we'll see a bifurcation of digital experiences. On one hand, algorithmic content will continue to optimize, getting more precisely targeted, more emotionally calibrated. But on the other hand, we'll see the growth of spaces that explicitly reject that model. The post-brain rot era isn't about going backward. It's about moving forward more consciously, about building digital spaces that enhance our humanity rather than exploit it. This transition won't be easy or clean. The psychological hooks of infinite scrolling and
I love
algorithmic
that
feeds are
more
deeply
people
embedded
are
in our daily
liking this,
routines, and not everyone will
because
make this
there's
transition
been
at the
people
same
that have
time or
been
in the same way. For many,
that have
especially
been
younger
doing this
users who have never known anything different,
for a while
the
now.
brain rot era is
So
simply
it's
normal.
cool that,
It's the water they swim in. But I
others are
believe the
breaking
signs
out
of
of that.
change are there if you look for them. The growing dissatisfaction with algorithmically driven experiences, the fatigue with constant stimulation, the yearning for something more substantive, more meaningful. The most interesting aspect of this shift is that it's not being driven by moral panic or technological reactionaries. It's coming from digital natives themselves, people who grew up online and are now demanding something better. Because ultimately, what's at stake isn't just how we consume content, it's how we experience reality, it's how we relate to each other, it's how we understand ourselves. The post-brain rot era isn't inevitable. It's a possibility, a direction we might choose to move in, collectively and individually, a recognition that our current relationship with digital content isn't sustainable and isn't serving us.
Cool. But now that you made this video, I think, the algorithm's gonna push more brain rot on people to make it stronger. I mean, we got Kai Cenat, the Face Clan, they're all brain rot. All these streamers are brain rot. Not all of them, but I mean, everything's about balance. So even though you're here spending time on the tube or watching videos, movies, playing games, whatever, you still gotta find time to move your body, make sure you're getting your calories in, not having too much calories, and make sure you're drinking water, having electrolytes, whatever. Make sure you're doing those things, because if you're not taking care of yourself, that's where the depression kicks in, the anxiety gets worse. You have a hard time connecting with other people because you start to feel less confident because you're probably gaining weight. Your skin's probably looking worse. Like, you know what I mean? So, take care of yourselves. You'll figure out how to work with consuming content, making content, and taking care of yourself. It's like, you just gotta find balance in your life. Alright? Look at your lives and see if it's balanced or not. And if it's not, find a way to level some things out. It don't gotta be perfect. It's not always gonna be perfect. Life will always get unbalanced at times. You just need to figure out how to balance it back out. Up and downs, there's up and downs. Don't overthink it. Peace.